So the content deputy is out. So let's do a first reaction and just go through it. It's just half an hour, so we should be fine. Okay, let's go.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Content Deputy. Now normally in a Content Deputy I would dance around in my cop outfit in the woods, but this video isn't going to have any of that fanfare. We're just going to get straight into it.
Okay, so this is just gonna be extremely boring. You already know.
Hoping that if I made a video about Ethan, he would act like an adult and he would keep the attacks directed at me and Anissa. Unfortunately, I was wrong in thinking that because...
Why would he just make it about you and Anissa? This is like a whole situation with a bunch of people harassing him, making content about him online, and that they all are in this content corp doing the Fortnite air dance. So these people are working together. So of course, he's addressing multiple people at once. It's not surprising, I would say.
Ethan, in a desperate attempt to attack and smear Anissa and I, he started attacking our charity event.
I don't know if you know this, but the last year they lost $250,000. To be charitable, you actually have to give money to charity, son. You have to give money to be charity. It's like a slush fund for them.
Ethan and Neela are well aware that we raised $1.3 million for charity the first year of Creator Clash. The second year we operated at a loss, and I take full responsibility for that. We did ban...
Okay, so what he said is kind of true. The last event was ridiculous because it didn't make no money for charity. I mean, it made money when he did this live stream where he gathered like over 100K. But I mean, the second event, it was a failure, right?
And together, the community and the fighters involved ended up raising $175,000 for charity. It's been really disheartening to see how often Ethan will attack Creator Clash through us or attack us through Creator Clash.
Ian and Anissa, masters of putting on an event.
He's reposting random troll accounts that are very...
Okay, yeah, I watched like a couple of minutes before I put on the camera because so I already saw this and this is so ridiculous. I actually saw the post on Instagram by Ethan. So even if if I saw this, I assumed that this is a troll account. It has an Obama profile picture, so I assumed that this is a troll, but this is not. This is not the point. The point is what she's writing. The event is gonna happen in the next like 2 months. Not even 2 months. And she's going on a girls' trip while the event is kind of falling apart and people are quitting. And it's just like the attitude it's just so weird. I mean, it makes a bit more sense now that they have stepped back from being the organizers, but still I understand why he even posted this. It was kind of funny to see her just while the event is kind of like blowing up in flames, she's going to a girls' trip. It's just funny. It's just not to be taken that serious. And who cares if this is like a troll account? Some people are actually trying to get refunds. It's not like nobody's trying to get refunds.
Very easy to vet. If you click on this profile, it has a bunch of Sam Hyde adjacent posts, and it just hates Anissa and I.
mean,
Come on, dude, you're one step away from calling me a cuck. Just take the plunge. He's highlighting this post that equates Creator Clash to a crypto rug pull. He's saying the event is going to be worse than TanaCon.
The rug pull thing, I mean, it's just maybe it's a bit hyperbole, but it's not completely inaccurate. Like the last event, people thought it was going to charity and it didn't, and then they raised more money. They had to raise more money from fans because all the money was spent on doing like after event parties, like Golden Globe parties or something. It's just comedians were ordered and such. Fighters were paid extra. So I don't know. I mean, this whole criticism is true, right? So I don't even know how do you. He already said that the second event was a failure. So I don't know. This is just Ethan is now frustrated and he's just piling on. You guys are piling onto him. So no wonder.
Can't wait for them to blame us for their failed event. Don't worry, Ela. I'm not going to blame you guys for anything Creator Clash related. I know you're terrified of taking accountability for anything, so that will rest solely on my shoulders. But I can't speak for the internet. The internet might actually blame you guys for it. Now, with this recent revelation that people are just going to use Creator Clash to attack Anissa and I, Anissa and I have decided to step away from Creator Clash. We have relinquished control to our business partners who ran the previous 2 events. They're very capable. They know exactly what they're doing. They run events on a regular basis. The event is still happening. Anissa and I just don't have any financial ties. We don't have any ownership. We are, I think just going to be known as the founders of the event. Yeah, I mean, I think it had to come to this eventually. I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't, I can. I just didn't want to.
It's funny because it's now blowing up in flames. Like the headline participator has left, and then also the person who brings in the most audience has also left, which was Lena. Of course, the H3 people would have brought in a big audience if this whole dispute didn't happen. I think there were a lot of H3 fans in the audience of Creator Clash, especially Creator Clash 1 and maybe even Creator Clash 2. So, and now leaving, I mean, I understand it. It's not weird that they are leaving. It's just you kind of brought us to this point, right? Yeah.
I want to be frank. I want to be honest. I was very quiet during the second Creator Clash because I was afraid of how that would impact other people. This year I said I'm going to do something different. I'm going to fight back if someone's trying to attack me. So that's what I did. And now I've realized, like, I can't really have my cake and eat it too. It's either you're going to talk shit like a foul beast on the internet, or you're going to have a charity event. You know, it really can't be both. I'm very proud of the event that we made with Creator Clash. It's still happening, June 28th. I'm just not going to be involved in it.
He's promoting this now, which is fine. Okay, now there's criticism.
He's a bad boss, a tyrant of a boss. I just implied that he was being taken advantage of by people either in his community or outside of his community, and I called him a bitch-made coward. That was like the summary of personal insults labeled at Ethan.
I think this bitch-made coward thing, I don't understand this at all. I mean, you can maybe... I can see some of the points that there's some criticism maybe how his crew has to deal with this whole drama and such. But the bitch-made coward thing, I mean, he's addressing everything head on. He's reacting to every video when it comes out. I mean, not every video, but everything of substance, of virality, I would say. And also, he now talked to Sam Cedar. He now talked to Hassan. So I don't know what you guys, what people like this even want from him. Like, he's addressing everything. Now, on the other points, you could maybe, it's a bit more gray area.
Before Ethan even knew what my video was about, he was already framing me as anti-Semitic.
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
I'm one of you. I fucking hate Jews too, guys. Let's get after it. Israelis have no right to defend themselves, actually. All Israelis are settlers, actually. What is he going to give me a history lesson now? Is he a historian? Yeah, he just discovered empathy, by the way, and only extends it to the point where you're actually talking about Jewish people or Israelis. Then empathy stops and they should all be murdered.
Like, Ethan, under a year ago, was saying he doesn't use anti-Semitism in that way. He's not a guy to call anything and everything anti-Semitic.
You know, my whole life, I've never screamed foul on anti-Semitism. I literally have been getting this shit since the second I stepped foot on the internet, and I have never fucking ever done this, okay? So the people online, they're saying, oh, Ethan's making himself a victim, or Ethan's making everything about anti-Semitism. I've done this once in my life right now. But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
Okay, so it's pretty clear that, I mean, something happened. He didn't do like this like big anti-Semitism card until this whole like Hassan crash out stuff happened, and now that everybody is targeting him for being a Zionist, which in a lot of contexts is just equivalent with Jew, I mean, now he's calling it anti-Semitic. So he didn't do this before, but now he's doing it. What's so hard to understand? He just changed because he now feels that people are targeting him because of him being a Jewish person and saying that the Israeli state shouldn't be blown up or something.
I mean, I get that he's scared and offended, but this was the whole fucking point of my video, Ethan. I was saying that you shouldn't be doing this. It led to me making this video in the first place. You were triggered by the CPS harassment thing, and then you immediately...
The CPS harassment thing. He's just brushing over. This is like... This is what we call also bad faith. Is you don't even take any time to represent the other person's side. So he's not even, he's brushing over things that are important for Ethan, and he's just addressing things that are important for him. But go on, King.
Equated Anissa and I to it. That was sloppy, and that was horrendous, and it was horrendous for us. And now you're doing it again.
I'm going to watch it live.
Should you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. But like, why?
I just don't think, I feel like you're going to get really emotional and say something you regret.
Well, I've got the button.
Like, I know you don't have a problem taking it head on, but I just feel
Of course not. Because I know that
you're understandably upset, and I feel like it might be a little...
Should we wait to talk about it, or you want to talk about it?
You should do it off stream. Because, I don't know, this escalated initially because we were live, and you guys were heated about, I forget what it was.
I just think it might be wise to watch it, think out your thoughts, and respond in a calm way. Because there's no chance that you don't get heated.
I don't need to fucking pre-watch this. I don't need someone else to hold my hand through it. Like, I'm ready to take on anything that these people have to say about me. He's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys. I'm one of you. I fucking hate Jews too, guys.
You attacked us.
Okay, so I mean, it's Ethan's decision. He has a crew those are his employees. They also have like friendship, but sometimes he is the business owner. He has to decide what to do in what situation. And I think the main point actually why they did this is because Ela was so heated that she came to the office, and then they decided to watch it right there. So that I think was the main reason. But okay, if you think that he should listen to his crew, I mean that's your opinion.
So I attack back, and now you're acting surprised and shocked, and you're doing it all on your podcast live. So naturally, you reacting live is you having an emotional reaction and seeing things that honestly are scary.
I just said.
Okay, so you can have it both ways. You cannot, on one hand, call him like a coward, like he's not facing the music basically. On the other hand, you're saying, oh, you have an emotional response from reacting to it live. Reacting to something live right when it happens is the exact opposite of being a coward when it comes to this internet stuff. So you can have it both ways.
I vented about them not defending me. What the fuck is he like? He's actually losing his shit and I just can't believe it, dude.
Isn't iDubbbz also somebody who's venting? There was this clip where he said he needs to dump, and that's why he made this podcast. So he's also emotionally dumping. So, which is the same thing as venting. So I don't know. It's not like iDubbbz is not doing this. It's maybe a different form, but yeah.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree. Fair weather friends who are so happy to be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
Ian sucks for the same reason right now. He could say something.
Spineless. Our POV is like, fuck everybody, and I don't want to hear any excuses. You're not my friend, and you never were, and you never will be. You never will be.
This is completely free of any content. There was nothing there. We all knew this already, and I mean, what is even this problem? It's just, yeah, of course. You guys are not understanding each other anymore, and you have a problem with each other. And he's saying, this is not my friend anymore. I mean, you're probably saying the same.
What's very insane about this content cop is I was thinking about Ethan's feelings so much in that video. I thought about the idea of like how I shouldn't be saying the term Zionist or Zionism in that video because I was like,
okay, so this is the point where I stopped and said, okay, I have to react to this right now, because I laughed out loud at this, because I mean, this thing that he's saying, he thought about Ethan's feelings the whole video long. That is so ridiculous. I mean, did he think about this when he made this L dance with all these people? It's so dumb. So he thought about Ethan's feelings, and then at the end he did this like cry bit where he was crying about something that it was very specific to him and not as specific to Ethan. It was like he was crying about his own problems and was acting like this is in some way related to Ethan in some way. It's weird.
he has explained before that that's personally insulting to him, and he doesn't like that. You know, regardless of how true it is, I was like, I'm going to think about Ethan's feelings and not mention this. Fast forward to him reacting to my video, he's just outright calling me a fucking Nazi.
Is it a coincidence that Ian really shaved his head just before doing this video and he's holding a swastika one? I mean, we can free Palestine without being a Nazi. You fucking Nazis, how about that? Well, this is the white savior, Ian, who's just found empathy, unless you're Jewish, of course.
Ethan, people are allowed to shave their head and not be called anti-Semitic. I mean, if you're going to critique his podcast or be pissed off that he personally insulted you, even that is enough to be called anti-Semitic. It's fucking crazy. Now,
okay, so wait. I was actually not on Ethan's side when he said the stuff with the sword and the swastika and such, and I was like, okay, that's a very weak point. Like, just okay, this sword from Bleach, and yeah, I mean, it has the symbol, but I mean, they could have just picked it out. But then there was this clip of Hassan saying, oh, he's going for the swastika one, talking to somebody else who picked up the sword, and he's saying he's going directly for the swastika one. So why didn't Hassan do the same thing in this situation, where they made this photo, they posted the photo online? They could have told them, hey guys, this is a swastika. Maybe not the best idea when you are addressing somebody who's currently seeing anti-Semitism everywhere, who's like very sensitive to anti-Semitism right now, putting this photo out with a swastika sword. It's just, why didn't this come up? So I actually arrived at the conclusion that they thought that would be funny. I think at some point somebody said, okay, this is the sword from Bleach. Oh, it has swastika. Or maybe it would be kind of funny to have this in the photo, so Ethan can say, so Ethan can kind of get mad at that, make it another talking point. They're kind of baiting Ethan to say something about that. That's my opinion. Before I saw the clip of Hassan saying that I thought it was a weak point. But then
And I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword. I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword hilt because Ethan himself basically admitted already multiple times he doesn't think any of us did that intentionally. And he would be right.
I think that was his first assumption. And then later on when he saw the Hassan clip where Hassan said, it's the swastika one, I think he switched on that. So it's kind of weird how the timelines are so off here. Sometimes you see clips that you don't even know when they are from, and then they are shown in the order where you think, okay, this might be more recent. So this is before. So this is already directly after the content corp, or like maybe the first show after. And I think later on he switched and said, okay, I think this was put in deliberately.
Do I think any of them actually like wanted to put a swastika in the photo? No, no. I don't actually think that. The chances that they did on purpose is close to zero, right? So I'm not accusing them.
I picked up a random sword in Hassan's room that was laying around. That could be the end of the discussion. You don't actually need to debate Hassan about the sword hilt.
He left
the
it up.
decision making.
If it was a mistake, he could have deleted it.
But I'm not going to delete the photo because that would be indulging in your weird anti-Semitic fantasies.
We can free Palestine without being a Nazi. You fucking Nazis. How about that?
I'm done being nice to Ethan. I gave it a chance. My sincerity and my empathy in that last video was real. I was even equating to him having crash out moments in the same way that denims could have crash out moments. I think we're all capable of it.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Comparing this to denims is so crazy. Because especially denims. Because denims is always sitting there like, just watching an Epilata video. Oh, wow. Oh, this is true. Like buying into the bad and empanada videos like hook, line, and sinker. Like, this is truth just being inserted into her veins. It's so crazy. Denims is not the best. It's not the best person to compare somebody to.
But he was using it in the video to suggest that I was making fun of his mental health.
To my good friend Ian of 8 years, I really appreciate you weaponizing my mental health against me.
To make Ethan crash out. He's having a parasocial weird crash out. People can have crash out moments. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help. Dude, I'm not making fun of your mental health. Every example you used was me basically saying that other people are trying to affect you. It's understandable that you're going through this right now, Ethan. We all go through this.
To characterize.
No, I think he's using Ethan's mental health as a weapon. He's not making fun of it.
Anything I'm doing as crashing out, that I need help, that I need to get some kind of treatment, is cruel and pathetic on a level.
No, it's a weapon. It's like he's saying, you're crashing out, stop making content, stop talking about me. He's kind of using it to kind of tell like the audience to push Ethan back on his perspectives, because he's just mentally unwell. That's what he's actually doing.
Level I didn't think he would ever be possible of doing.
Every fucking example that you tried to smear me with was me actually pointing to something else that could be affecting you. He even brought up the clip of me saying, if you get help. We all need help. Everyone on this planet needs help. I don't
Oh, Jesus. Again with the concern trolling. What is this?
care how you get it. You can wander into the jungle and go on an ayahuasca trip. I don't care how you get your help or what you define as help. But if it helps you, that would be good. Because right now it doesn't seem like you're getting much help.
I don't know if Ian's help is helping him that well. Maybe he needs some other help. Maybe he needs to do an ayahuasca trip or something.
The criticism that I was seeing online with my video from Ethan and Hila is that I didn't mention the CPS call.
So there's really just one central
Yeah, that was valid criticism. What the hell?
point that I want to make here. My good friend Ian, in his hour-long takedown, did not mention one time Child Protective Services. Not one time.
There was not even one mention of CPS.
And a lot of the clips he uses is us fired up from the day that CPS
yes.
came to us.
So, like,
without even explaining that at least that's the context, it's pretty cowardly.
I wonder why I wouldn't mention the CPS call. Could it be that the CPS call happened the same day that you were shit-talking me, and I didn't have any chance to defend myself? You just immediately, in the same podcast, right next to each other, said, CPS call was very traumatic. And then you said, fuck Ian and Anissa. And you linked those together, you kind of layered those flavors, and then Anissa and I got a bunch of harassment. We had nothing to do with the CPS call. What are all these fucking comments on your Reddit saying, like, it happened because of the CPS call? I don't entirely blame your audience for getting confused, because number one, it's a fucking cult, and number two, you can't even get the timeline straight. So if anyone's watching your dumbass, their brain is also going to get scrambled.
Be friends as long as they're getting something out of it. So again, he's not showing the context. What was the okay, I'll play this part. Did you guys ever find the context of what I was talking about here? Because I feel like I wasn't even talking about him. I could be wrong. I just don't remember ever saying like, if I did say that,
I thought you were talking about them, about Anissa and Ian in the clip.
That's the same clip of
It's all
when
the part of the
CPS
same
was
clip.
called.
Yeah.
Same clip.
It's part of the same conversation.
I mean, this is a live show. Come on. What the
You
hell?
completely wiped your brain of what happened during the CPS stream. That's not my fucking fault. That's no one else's fault but yours.
Okay. So one of the things is there's this idea out there that the only person responsible for the CPS call is the person who did the CPS call, which is, I mean, that is true. I mean, if somebody does a murder, then only that person is responsible. I mean, unless this was like a murder for hire or something. But in this case, it's like things online happen if there's like, that's why a content creator cannot just send all their fans to somebody else to harass them, because it's not just comments, because something like this could happen. There were fights between content creators where somebody at some point did like a swatting or something. I mean, Ethan has been swatted. I don't know if Ian has been swatted as well. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened already. What I'm trying to say is that's why it's not just about one person calling CPS. It's about the whole story. Who causes this much harassment towards this person? If Ethan fights with somebody else, I mean, this goes for a lot of creators actually. I think that most creators say, don't harass this person, leave this person alone, never go try to affect somebody in real life. For like Hassan and his people, which Ian associates with, they try to say that his children are being mistreated, his dogs are shitting somewhere and such. And those are the people that Ian directly associates with. So I know this sounds like a guilt by association, but there is like something, I mean, guilt by association is there. It's like a fine line. It's kind of like if you hang around those people and you put them in your video as well, you co-sign these people, you put them in this video about Ethan Klein, and those people have added to this general harassment of Ethan online, then there is a relation, right? There is a relation. It's not like the CPS call and Ian and Anissa, those talking points are like completely 100% separate, have nothing to do with each other at all. There is a connection. I'm not saying that they are responsible for it, but they associate with these people. They're putting them in the video as well. So
all I wanted for you to do was say the bare minimum of like, hey, this is fucked up. This is not true about CPS, whatever, like the bare minimum. It came up because they were talking about it on their fucking podcast. By the way, they're the ones that like started this conversation by talking about the podcast. Be like, hey, I'm not getting involved.
I think that was their response after you guys initially called them out.
This is what I was talking about. You cannot have something terrible happen, be like, yes, let's make some content, and then shit talk your friends of 8 years. I'm so fired up by talking about myself, which is why I'm that's a good space to be in life.
That's that.
And a lot of the clips he uses is us fired up from the day that CPS came to us.
For anyone confused about the timeline, Ethan was talking shit about us on his Instagram before any CPS shit. He was also talking shit about us on his podcast before any CPS visit. On March 7th, CPS visits Ethan and Hila, and that same day, they decide, let's do our podcast, and let's have the topic be the CPS visit and how distraught we are about that. And then right next to that, right after it, you guys talk about me and Anissa. But do you
have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say that?
Random anonymous
Did I say that?
Wait, what's the...
I said they're primarily responsible for harassing me.
Who called CPS?
What the fuck? So I don't know.
To be honest, I'm very proud that I didn't immediately jump to Ethan and Hila's defense, because when you look into the story, it actually looks a lot shittier for Ethan and Hila. And
actually, this guy, Bad Empanada, actually took responsibility for it. He probably didn't do it, but... I mean, this is somebody who is very much attached, or really, there's you couldn't say this like a friendship, but I mean, Denims and Hassan at least have watched his videos, especially the ones where he's criticizing Ethan, and then there's also this video where he's doing the terrorist video game thing and such. So they all know about this Bad Empanada guy. So, I mean, at some point, maybe you should ask yourself, okay, is this cool that these people are watching like harassment videos against Ethan from this guy, Bad Empanada? And this guy is in favor of calling CPS on Ethan. I mean, it all goes into the direction of guilt by association, but I mean, there is kind of, you wouldn't hang out with a pedophile, right? So I'm not saying that this guy's a pedophile. I'm just saying that some people you just don't want to associate with, and you wouldn't just watch their videos uncritically and just do like a chair reacts or something about it. And maybe not the people directly from the Snark subreddit called this. called CPS. Maybe it was somebody from Bad Empanada's community. That would make a lot of sense. He is somebody who doxes people often.
I do mean that literally. There was this H3 stream where Ethan was dumping as per usual. He was talking about his own health. He was talking about his caca breath, his dog having diarrhea, his dog having giardia.
Olive has giardia. It's a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
His child running around putting things in their mouth.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
The whole family possibly having giardia.
Oh,
And now Ela has giardia.
Shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my god.
What can I do to not get it?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Because I'm not trying to get it.
No, it's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop.
Talking about the
So this is absolute hyperbole. He's just saying he's kind of making a joke, and he later on cleared up that only the dog had it and the others just had diarrhea. I mean, it's not that crazy.
viscosity of his child's shit.
And although meanwhile he is covered in low viscosity diarrhea.
He mentioned diarrhea a lot.
Crazy diarrheas like in the middle of the night. All the time he's having these crazy diarrheas. You wash your hands as best you can, but these are really nasty diarrheas. And then extremely foul smelling diarrheas.
So of course, Ethan, having made so many enemies over the years, other people react to his content. And when other people see that he's talking about his children getting giardia from dog poop.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
People are quite reasonably concerned. And so, yes.
Wow. This guy is making an apology tour for the people who called CPS. That is crazy. I didn't see that coming. He's legitimizing the person who called CPS. That's insane. I would have not guessed.
Anyone who's seeing that content might be concerned enough to call CPS, including...
But anybody would be concerned enough to call CPS? That is so insane. That is so insane. So you couldn't have like an issue with your children not being... Your children like... licking something, or I don't know, touching the dog or something, touching the dog's ass or something, and that's like a thing that just happens because those are children, and you directly have to call CPS. This is so insane. This is so insane, especially because we're talking about people online who don't know the family in person. This is so crazy. This is so crazy. Like it's totally fine for any person online to call CPS on somebody just because they heard like a child might have touched the dog's ass. I did not see this coming. This is so crazy.
Ethan's own chat, which by the way is not a measly number. It's about 26,000 at the time of this stream. So there are 26,000 people listening to Ethan go into great detail over 7 or 8 minutes about diarrhea, viscosity of diarrhea, his child having giardia, him and his whole family having giardia. They're calling it the poop house. Now what Ethan does, instead of taking any responsibility for sharing too much on his live stream, is that he decides to attack specific creators like Denims and say she was the source of the CPS.
Okay, to be fair, you could say that Ethan overshared in that moment. You could definitely say that. That's something that you shouldn't put out there just to not go into that risk. But I would be surprised if he shows us the Denims clip.
CPS call, because her chat was reacting to Ethan and saying, wow, this is concerning.
Is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services.
The problem with the CPS thing is that Ethan has proven to be a manipulative piece of shit. So when he calls on me to defend him, what the fuck am I meant to do? I don't trust you, and I'm glad I didn't trust you, because in your video defending yourself, you used a video that takes context from like 3 different places and combines them to make it seem like someone is coordinating an attack on you.
Love made a good point. You said, is this every comment? I believe this is a live feed of the chat. This isn't edited.
What about the top right? I thought these were...
No, it's this. I think when you full screen it... No, this is an edit. It's a cutout of the full chat. It's just enlarged
really?
over the screen, yeah.
They're different, I think.
Yeah,
It's not timed the same way.
But it sounds like based
I think that the big screen of the chat was just I think it was just like a highlights compilation of comments or something. So those are still all comments from that stream. So it's not like this is from a different stream or from like a completely different content. So And you can also see that she's talking about that topic, and people are addressing exactly that topic. So this is why are they acting like this is like a big gotcha?
The same way.
But it sounds like based on this clip, you knew that it was bullshit, and you just went with it anyway. Ethan Klein uses this very deceptively edited video that is just like doing this smooth scroll to make it seem like that's all of Denim's chat. But that's not what it is. And then when he's called out on it, he hides it. He moves his window over the real chat.
Also, this is not
Okay, so is he explaining what this window actually is?
joking matter, by the way, can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other
Reading the
illnesses,
chat,
it's
co-signing
very,
it.
very, very dangerous.
Now pay attention to.
This is so dumb. They put him over there because they want to don't cover his face and their cleavage, and they didn't want to cover this chat that he's addressing right now. So they're putting it over the live chat. This is not like deception. Jesus.
Very, very dangerous.
Now pay attention to her
doesn't
chat.
actually have a housekeeper anymore. Perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit, and he has kids. And
Yeah, obviously this is the perfect place for him to be because they want to read this because this is a size where you can actually read stuff, while when he's over here. When he's over here, then you can barely see Denims, and this chat is just writing what. So this is not interesting. So
Some fucking responsibility. It's just so bizarre that Ethan would expect Anise and I to make a statement when Denims herself already made a statement about it and said that she does not condone calling CPS.
So we're talking about CPS. 1, I don't condone. 2, I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me
yeah, you can't say that afterwards that you don't condone calling CPS after your chat has said call CPS right now.
saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times or multiple instances, and I will do
Okay, you can say it right after, but saying it after CPS has already been called is, I
it
mean,
again right now for not showing photos of his kids.
Part of my criticisms of Ethan initially was the openness. I think it's a problem that you were that open, Ethan.
Well, you know I'm very open about everything. It's part of how I wanted to conduct myself and how I wanted to relate to the audience is to be open as possible about every fucking thing in my life.
It is not strictly a benefit to be as open as possible on your podcast.
Ethan was just sharing his thoughts, what we were thinking, we were speculating.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
We were speculating.
And now Ela has giardia.
Shut.
Be open as possible about every fucking thing in my life. Really?
yeah, okay. This is the only point. I mean, I actually think that Ethan should. So I understand that he's the person who shares a lot of things, and people are watching him for that because it's kind of like a Truman Show aspect. But I understand that this is not smart in every situation. I personally would definitely not do this. I wouldn't talk about everything going on in my private life on live stream or something. So this is actually, if this video was only about this point, I would actually say, I mean, that would be fine. But we have already seen so much nonsense and so much bad faith representations. I mean, but if you bring up like 20 points, of course, I mean, one might eventually hit. So yeah, this one I can kind of understand. I can say that he's probably correct about this.
How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will
Yeah, by all means,
compromise
keep
your
talking
privacy.
about it.
On top of Ethan characterizing me and my wife as anti-Semitic, he also takes a dig at my tattoos.
Bro, you literally look like a fucking free tattoo pack that you get for 25 cents from a.
Oh, okay. Now we are doing the joke police. This is not content cop anymore. This is joke cop now. Because, I mean, this is not, you cannot tell me this is actual criticism. Neither Ethan is doing actual criticism or he is doing criticism. This is just talking about jokes now.
A windy thing, bro. Like, literally, my kids have cooler fucking tattoos from Chuck E. Cheese. Bro looks like he just went to the menu and was like, I'll take that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one.
I have quite a few options here. I can show your tattoos in all of their glory, or I can show that your tattoo made it to the top of awful taste but great execution subreddit, which is not a good thing. I mean, it might be a good thing for the artists that you work with because that means that they did a good job from a technical standpoint, but it's sort of a failure in every other aspect, particularly the decision-making aspect.
Wait, do you want to say anything funny now? By the way, I can, if you guys want to see the Ela tattoo, this is the Ela tattoo. Yeah, I mean, they say it will look better once it fades a bit, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look that much like her. It's his decision. I personally wouldn't talk about any single tattoo that Ian has. Like, I don't like his tattoos that much, but it just doesn't have anything to do with me necessarily. So I think in this segment he should have just made some jokes back And just taking this so serious is just annoying.
If you want to go tattoo for tattoo, Ethan, we can do that. You want to keep it to other things? We can. I'll give you that option. Ethan also talked about the potential
Okay, joke? Any joke here?
CTE that I might have after boxing.
Yeah.
Ethan, your whole system is scrambled.
No, your brain is scrambled for getting punched in the face too many times because you don't understand the situation. Some people are saying the CTE is starting to take effect. I guess that would be comforting if there was some explanation at least.
Any amount of CTE that I may have endured after doing 2 boxing matches, I'm going to say is preferred over having to share the load of doing 50 jumping jacks with my wife.
What if we we'll both do 25 at once?
25 each?
Oh my goodness. Great form by both. Really nice. They must work out.
Also, why are you talking about CTE at all? Like, you've continually illustrated that you can't keep track of anything.
It came
Okay, this was... he could have went so much harder with the jumping jacks. Sorry. Can you be funny? I don't know. You could have made so many jokes now. Ethan is you can make so many jokes about Ethan. Let's go. I mean, where's the problem?
Came up because they were talking about it on their fucking podcast. By the way, they're the ones that like started this conversation by talking about it on the podcast. Be like, hey, I'm not getting involved.
I think that was their response after you guys initially called him out.
He can't even keep straight who attacked who first. He thinks that our podcast where we're expressing sympathy for him and Hila was the impetus for him.
Oh yeah, the Concern Trolling podcast. Are you serious? The Concern Trolling podcast where you're showing sympathy for Ethan and saying, oh, get therapy, go offline. You're going crazy. Jesus Christ. I made a whole video about this, by the way. You can watch it on my channel. I made a whole video about this nonsense here. Concern trolling bullshit.
Talking shit about us. I much prefer boxing-induced CTE than harassment-induced CTE. Ethan acts like we're such great friends and that like he shared such intimate moments with me, but it's all horseshit. He's lying. Like the whole thing is a fucking lie. He's manipulating his audience. We did not have a close relationship.
You guys were buddies for a long time.
He texted me like one time like, hey dude, we should talk this out. And I was like, I don't feel like having this conversation right now. That's it. So he kept trying to get me on the phone or text with me. And I told him, dude, honestly, I don't feel like having this conversation right now.
Okay.
Fair, right? I just didn't want to do it. Okay?
Just in that particular moment or like at all?
Well, it turns out I didn't want to talk to him at all.
Okay.
If the relationship was that close, you would have talked to me on the phone. You wouldn't have shit-talked me. You would be curious where my brain was at and where I was coming from. There's this
this is also a thing. I mean, I'm kind of like 50-50 or something. I actually think that at some point they should have probably talked on the phone. I think Ethan should have maybe even when he had the first feelings that they were kind of positioning themselves on like against him, being more on the Hassan side, and their moderator writing some weird stuff. I think a phone call should have happened at that point. I understand that Ethan, when he's not in the podcast studio, doesn't have a lot of time and he doesn't want to talk to random people, but I think he should have probably done this. So this is, I would say, at least understandable. I understand that Ethan, at that point where he didn't respond anymore, he was already too angry about this. I understand that. I'm just saying before that, I think months before that, there should have been a conversation already over phone. So I kind of see what he's saying here.
Moment in the Content Cop where I'm trying to give an example of the cycle of harassment. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with? It doesn't stop. It can literally go on forever if you don't want to touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of... Okay, what's that to do with me?
I don't know.
Are you okay?
Ethan and Hila act like they have no idea what I'm talking about here. So, I mean, maybe they don't. It's a very obvious and easy to digest point. That's why I made it that way. I'm going to explain it here so everyone on the internet understands. When you have a podcast where you are constantly emotionally dumping and saying things just off the top of your head and you're attacking other people...
You are emotionally dumping as well. Why are those crying clips out? Jesus Christ. It's a different kind of dumping, but you're dumping. You said about your own podcast that you need to dump
people randomly. Maybe from your perspective, it's not attacking. Maybe you're just commenting on someone else's situation.
He's got to be one of the most visually repulsive people. FaZe Banks, like, in my opinion, he's somewhat repulsive to look at.
And
pedophile. Pirate Software was like weird about it. Like, look at my old voice, it's so lame. What an obnoxious loser. She goes, I can't believe these people are...
Oh yeah, Ian has found out that edgy commentary is not good anymore. That edgy, funny commentary isn't fine anymore in 2025. Yes.
So obnoxious, and he looks like an idiot who's obsessed with me, dude.
But what happens?
Did you actually put in a clip where he said he is an idiot who's obsessed with me, dude, in a funny voice?
When other people comment on your situation, it doesn't feel too good, does it?
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
That is the back and forth I'm describing. You might have thought we were just saying that Ian and Anissa are bad friends. Well, guess what? We didn't take it that way.
Our POV is like, fuck everybody, and I don't want to hear any excuses. You're not my friend.
Implied
not
that we are
again.
okay with people using CPS as harassment, and now all of their fans are brigading us. So I am going to respond in kind and make a content cop. So yes, that is what the cycle of harassment looks like.
Okay, what's that have to do with me?
I don't know.
How about you fucking Nazis? How about that?
You might think that all of the harassment you're getting has everything to do with your politics and your idea of Israel-Palestine, but a lot of my gripes were centered around you dragging me into your shit. You know, you knew that you were going through a lot, and you were saying, I'm hurting, I'm now going to make them hurt because they're not putting their head on the chopping block. Fuck you, you're a piece of shit. I'm sure there's anti-Semitic people that are attacking you guys, but they're not me, they're not Anissa.
Okay, okay, all right. I mean, it didn't seem necessarily Wait, didn't Anissa... Actually, Anissa... I don't think that Ian is anti-Semitic. I don't actually think that. But Anissa... I mean, the stuff she said something like those experiments on Jewish like some doctor in the Nazi in the Deutsche Reich. Sorry, I'm German. So there was a doctor. I don't know. Did we already say Mengele? I don't know. A doctor made experiments on Jewish people, and she said, a lot of good came out of that. Which is, I mean, that is an insane statement. Of course, any human experiment with like basically slaves or just people treated like cattle is abhorrent, and that she said that is crazy. Maybe she took it back already, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what her position on Jews is. No idea.
It's not Hassan, it's not all these other creators that you're attacking. You're not the biggest victim on the internet, Ethan. Other people can experience a horrible fucking time. And guess what? They're not getting this other benefit, which is 26,000 viewers. You're getting a lot of money and a lot of content, a lot of things that you care about from these beefs and from this harassment. There are a lot of people that you've just bullied and they have nothing to gain out of it. Frogan isn't making a bag from this. She's not getting content out of this. You're attacking her in relentless ways and endorsing so much worse harassment than what even you send her way.
The shit he said and posted about Frogan over the past years is like insanely nasty shit. Yeah. Worse than anyone I've seen.
Anything that he says about Ethan goes for Frogan as well. She's also participating in this cycle of harassment. I mean, people are saying something to her. Actually, Ethan said to her, "Stop talking about me. You're a small creator. You don't need to be here. You need to face this whole battle of these audiences. You don't need to do this." And she continues, and Ethan continues. I mean, either you are condemning both, or both is fine.
If this is true, absolutely mind-blowing, insane shit.
Hold on, it's not worse than anything you've seen. How could it be worse than anything you've seen?
Literally, no. I guess
he was
not.
very nasty. Well, I'm just saying, people like fucking want to like lay down and fucking like.
I'm talking about specifically against Frogan.
But like he called her.
Oh, and by the way, you could say that Ethan is the bigger creator. But if Frogan makes a video with like 50,000 views of her spreading like misinformation about Ethan, do you expect him not to respond? Do you expect him not to respond?
Fat, right, and ugly, which is horrifically mean. I get called a fucking baby killer.
I was talking specifically about
that's way
Frogan.
worse than being called fat and ugly, in my opinion.
Also, on top of Ethan...
Yeah, I agree. Being called fat and ugly is I mean, it's terrible. It's not nice, but there are things that have way more consequences than being called fat and ugly.
Neela constantly victimizing himself. I did notice that as soon as we didn't immediately jump to Ethan and Neela's defense, Ethan took that to heart and he started to make that his employees' problems. Instead of just, sucking it up and taking on himself, he decided to imply that Lena is going to have a problem with that.
A lot of this has ramifications for the crew. The way that they have it set up is basically, if Lena were to drop out, she would lose, she would have to pay back like $25,000 or something like insane. And besides that, which I told her I would cover if she wanted to drop out, she's working really hard. And just because I'm having an issue with what's going on here.
You bringing up Lena dropping out of the fight was you publicly showing to your fans, like, I don't approve of this. You were saying this shit before the content cop even came out.
Which I told her I would cover if she wanted to drop out.
But now you were saying that you didn't have a problem with any of it until I made the video.
I was totally on board until the organizer put out a video calling me a psychopath for harassing his friend.
Obviously, Ethan and Neela will victimize themselves every chance they get. But when they have the chance to victimize someone else who's on their crew, they'll also do that.
You already forced Lena into this horrible situation. And again, you forced this situation on her.
Okay, so if we talk about this cycle of harassment, he could have left Lena and AB out. They are already out of the event. He could have just not addressed this now, but I mean, he wants to talk about this. Also, will he include that Lena said that before Content Cop she was already scared to go to the event, to Creator Clash because she was scared that people would boo her because they have a feud, and Ethan and Ian have a feud, and also a lot of Hassan's people will be there at the Creator Clash, and she was scared of being booed by the audience. So that was before Content Corp. So will he include that? So because that would legitimize why Ethan was already thinking about this before Content Corp. Okay, let's see.
Why would I do such a thing to Lena? Dude, you have as much agency as I do. You didn't have to badmouth me on your podcast. That was a choice that you made.
So go fuck it.
Okay. So this thing with your editor going crazy and you not talking about it and not even addressing it, you would expect Ethan, I mean, you know Ethan, you would expect him to never talk about that. All right.
I agree. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
Oh, the organizers of this event are not jumping to my defense? All right, well, maybe instead of shit-talking them, maybe I should zip it.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree. You already forced Lena into this horrible situation. And again, you forced this situation on her. By the way, iDubbbz, Lena's fucking having a panic attack.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
But you're just lobbing it to me and Anissa. I'm lobbing it back to you. You're the one who brought it up. If you lob it back to me and you say, well, I didn't have your back publicly. Well, fuck you. I'm going to lob it back and say, you're being irresponsible on your podcast, and you're not...
So you have no involvement in this. You have no involvement in this beef situation with Ethan. You could have not just said, yeah, okay, my editor did some bullshit. I don't stand by this. You could have not said, like with the CPS thing, you could have not said something about that. So this whole situation, you had no parts of it. It just happened all without your doing whatsoever. All right.
Not taking any accountability for the shit you're putting out online. I think that's going to do it for this video. There's a lot more that I can share, but I'll save that for the future. And in closing, I will reiterate so that, there's no ambiguity about it. Anissa and I are no longer involved in Creator Clash. We're stepping down completely. We hope that the event is a massive success this year. We hope that all the fighters get what they wanted out of it. I'm sorry that I'm such a fucking nasty person who just wants to roll around in the shit. I'll put the link to Creator Clash down in the description if you want to support them.
Actually, this is the least problematic thing, I think, that he's making like content and he's fighting with people online. This is like his legacy. I mean, this is totally fine. It's just the quality and the angle of his criticism is in a weird place currently, and it's just weird because before he was acting like, oh, he's this refined person. He's newborn basically, and he's now not doing anything. He's not doing Content Corps anymore because it's negative, and now he's just back. So, great.
In their mission to get creators to fight and raise money for charity, you can do that down there. I will be doing that on my own, and I hope you guys have a good time. Also, for all the people who touch grass, I want to remind you to click the like button on this video, not so it goes in your algorithm or anything, just specifically so that we can add a counter narrative, or I can get an idea of how much astroturfing is out there, because I know that a lot of these fuckers, they love their dislike button extensions, and I saw that shit and I was like, what the fuck? These are all like fabricated numbers. The like-dislike ratio was like 80-20 on my video, and then they tried to create a narrative of like, no, people actually hate this Content Cop, guys. It's actually so much worse. Like, bitch, like, people were more upset with, like, my wife being on OnlyFans. You're not gonna convince the internet that fucking Ethan Klein isn't being a piece of shit. Like, sorry, guys. It doesn't matter how many dislike extensions you have.
We can free Palestine without being a Nazi, okay? Yeah, fuck you guys too, okay? How about you fucking Nazis? How about that?
It's blatantly and obviously fucking disingenuous. This shit blew my fucking mind. Like, this is fucking insane. And, like, dangerous. He is going out of his way to slander you as a neo-Nazi. Like, that can get you hurt.
Okay, what was this out of context Dan clip? I didn't get this at all.
You, Ethan Klein, you are my best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend. Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend. You are my best friend.
By the way, Ian talking about Ethan not having good form with his jumping jacks. He looks. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on here. It just looks odd. What? I don't know. But I want to understand what this was about. Okay.
Blew my fucking mind. Like, this is fucking insane and like dangerous. He is going out of his way to slander you as a neo-Nazi. Like that can get you hurt.
What? There there was no context for this. There was absolutely no context. I mean, I don't even know what I don't even know if he wants to manipulate us or something. I just didn't understand what that was about. It's so weird. It's just a random, out of context dance clip. Great job. Okay, yeah, okay. This is he continued the dumpster fire for the most part. I think there was one point where I agreed, which was that Ethan shouldn't post all of his stuff online. And then there was one point where I said, okay, I understand. They could have called early on in the feud starting, I would say. So, yeah, on that front, that was fine. But for the rest, that was absolutely god-awful. So, to be clear about that. So it's still a dumpster fire, right? And I mean, he's going on about the dislike. Yeah, that was also like kind of weird. It's just the dislike extension. I mean, I have the dislike extension, as you can see. Here you can see this is the dislike extension, and the dislike extension is definitely a bias towards people who use it, which is like mostly people who use it on desktop, mostly people who like to dislike. You gotta understand though that, of course, on YouTube, people aren't disliking as much as back in the days because of people are using smartphones and people use smartphones and also you can see the dislikes anymore, so people don't click on it that much. Okay, so he had an 80-20 ratio on the content cop. So let's see what the dislike tool is saying. Yeah, I mean, you can see this is definitely biased. If he has the 80-20 ratio and this showing 40-60 towards the dislikes, it's definitely off by a lot. It's just showing you what people think that want to see dislikes. That's basically what it is. And I think people who, like me, enjoy seeing dislikes, they dislike this a lot. That's what you can see. And I also found it funny that at first it didn't have that much dislikes, and then after they watched the video, it had more dislikes. Maybe this is gonna happen with this one as well, because right now we have like a 60-40 situation. And if I now refresh, let's see. Oh, it's still looking good for even the people who are watching this. Okay, so it seems to be a bit better, but I mean, if you had 80-20 on the content cop, that's still pretty good, I would say. Okay, I think I said everything about this. That's it. Joe out.